Hello there, my love. How are you? I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever it is that you find yourself. Ready for this conversation about why waiting until you feel ready is a form of self-sabotage. And I say that so vehemently with such belief in the truth of those words because I get it. I've been where you may be right now, waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel as if all the parts are in place, waiting to feel like it's the right time of year, the right time in your life before you take that big step forward to create something that you've maybe never done before, or to start carving out a future that you've been thinking about for so long, but you've never been able to make moves up until now. My name is Sabrina Militello. I am a coach and founder of Empower Her Coaching, and I bring conversations to you every week here in our coaching corner with the sole aim of helping you understand how you are the single greatest obstacle in your life, because with that understanding, you can get out of the way and start creating everything you want your life to be. So we're going to get into it today because I see this particular form of self-sabotage show up for women over and over and over again. It's shown up for me in my process, my journey of losing over 100 pounds, my journey of building and scaling 3 businesses, my process right now of founding a new arm of my business that involves physical products, of the whole process of healing my marriage that was hanging on by tenterhooks. I've seen how waiting until I feel ready or the timing is just right has sabotaged a lot of my growth and a lot of my progress. And I see it showing up for my clients. I see it showing up in the women in my communities that I'm not working with yet. And I so want to give you the tools and the ability to be able to move beyond it. So why is waiting until you feel ready a form of self-sabotage? To quote my girl, Angie Lee, ready is a lie. Ready is a lie. I remember being in a position in my life not so long ago where I had the opportunity to partner with somebody to grow and scale and expand an already established brick and mortar business. I was a personal trainer. I had my own personal training business. I was teaching group exercise for this particular business at that time, and things were going okay. You know, I was building my business. I was stepping into entrepreneurship for the very first time. I was kind of establishing myself in my industry. And I had this opportunity to become a co-owner of a boutique fitness studio. And I remember thinking, man, the timing isn't right. Like, I'm not ready for a step like this. I didn't feel like I was old enough. I didn't feel like I was grown enough. I didn't feel like I had enough experience. I didn't trust that I brought anything to the table. And I thought to myself, gosh, I've, just getting my feet wet when it comes to my personal training business. That is actually going really well. I'm starting to build a solid client base. Things are growing and expanding there. Do I have the time? Do I have the energy? Do I have the belief that this is a risk worth taking? And I sat with that question for a long time. I sat questioning my worth for a long time, questioning why this opportunity had fallen on my doorstep. And I remember thinking, now is not the right time. I remember being on the cusp of turning the opportunity down because I wasn't ready. And thankfully, the woman that I was partnering with, she is not somebody who takes no for an answer very easily. So after talking things through, we actually moved forward with that business opportunity. And it was the most impactful 4 years of my life, I think, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who really started to see possibility of something bigger and greater for her life. It was a truly impactful and valuable 4 years of my life. And I often think, where would things be now if I hadn't had that experience, if I had said no? to that opportunity, if I had let that pass me by because I wasn't ready. And even though there were certain things about that phase of my life and that particular experience that didn't turn out the way I would have hoped, that didn't go the way that I took a risk on, I am not sorry for that season. I'm very, very grateful for that experience. And I often think I wouldn't be the business owner, the woman, the partner that I am now if I hadn't had that experience. So consider that for yourself. If you continue to wait until you feel ready, until the timing is right for you to say yes to the opportunities that come your way, if not now, when? When are you going to be ready? When is the timing going to be right? And what are you potentially missing out on by waiting? It's really important to consider that question for yourself, I think, because it's easier to stay in the waiting, isn't it? There's no risk involved in the waiting, at least like in the immediate term, right? You're not putting yourself on the line, you're not putting yourself on the hook, you're not risking anything by waiting, except everything that you potentially want. So I really want you to consider that perspective. I've got some notes here that I want to make sure that I stay on track with this conversation, because it's important to understand the signs when you are ready, so that you can, even though it feels uncomfortable, even though you might feel as if like, oh gosh, am I really ready? Is this really the right time? You can kind of draw on other evidence or proof, or draw on something else to be the guidepost, be the what's it called? The lighthouse in the journey for you. So signs to know when you are ready, even when emotionally you may be like, I'm not ready. Signs to know that you're ready are that you have this feeling in your gut. And it's difficult to give you like exact, like you feel ready when A happens, when B happens, when C happens, because I think this shows up so differently for all of us. And it is a feeling. More than having X amount of money in your bank account so that you can invest X amount in whatever, or having the kids you're an empty nester now, so now is the right time because you don't have the kind of energetic and time suck of looking after your children on a day-to-day basis. They've flown the nest, it's up to them now, right? Rather than looking for those specific tangible signs, I want you to really tap into a feeling that you have, that more is out there for you. And I think when you can tap into that feeling that more is available, you know, that sometimes it shows up as a disquiet, you know, sometimes it shows up as you being impatient and a little bit like, gosh, is this all there is? That kind of feeling. Sometimes it shows up like that. And sometimes it shows up like there's just a bubble in your stomach. There's like a ripple. There's some energy that's flowing through you that's telling you in whispers, go for it. More is out there for us, right? So I want you to start to tap into that feeling, that sensation. It's like there's a desire for you to take that next step, go to that next level, take the risk. It might not make sense to anybody else. Often it doesn't make sense to anybody else. In fact, for anybody from the outside looking in, they could say, you're like cray-cray. Can you pump the brakes? Like, this is crazy. But you just have this feeling. I want you to trust that, because that's the best sign that you're ready to step into whatever that next level may be. And you may not have the finances, you may not have the time, you may not have the skill set or the knowledge necessary. But when you can feel that inkling, that sensation, that pull, trust it. and use that as the signal from your body, from your nervous system, from your soul, that now is the time you're ready for more, all right? I already discussed a little bit the hidden cost of waiting, right? The cost of waiting is potentially everything that you want, everything that you want your future to be is at stake. The longer you wait to feel ready, the longer you wait for the right time, you're procrastinating and rescheduling everything that you want. And I would encourage you to think about it like that. Where is it that I'm procrastinating calling in everything I want? Where is it that I'm rescheduling my joy and my success and my freedom for ease and comfort today? Because the hidden cost of waiting is not only that you're prolonging how far off it is, that future that you desire, you're prolonging that being your reality. There's also a hidden danger of you prolonging the amount of time you make available for you to give up. I had a business coach close to the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, and I've dipped in and out of his offerings and his teachings for a solid, I would say, 8 years or so, 7 or 8 years. And I keep going back because there's more to learn, and I really feel like pulled to him. But he gave an example of his growth process and his journey of entrepreneurship. And he said he was detailing cars. That was his full-time job. He was detailing cars while getting his life coaching certification, business coaching certification. And he would be detailing cars for like 10, 12, 14 hours a day. And that whole time he would have headphones in, he'd be listening to personal development and entrepreneurship and business growth like lessons. That's how he got his qualification, is he spent his time where he was detailing cars learning. And I remember him saying on a call that we had once that when he decided to quit his detailing job and go all in with building his coaching business, he said, I'm going to give myself 2 years. I think it was 2 years, arbitrary number, whatever number. I'm going to give myself this specific amount of time to make it work. And if it hasn't gotten to a point that I see feasible to continue by this amount of time, then I'm going to hang my hat, right? And he gave himself that specific amount of time because it put urgency in the process for him. It was like putting more skin in the game for him, because he knew that he didn't want to go back to detailing cars. He knew he didn't want to go back to that drudgery of traditional employment. He knew what he wanted to build. So by giving himself like a time frame, he was putting skin in the game, right? And he said it was really important that he gave himself that time frame, because if he had said, I'm gonna do this and try and I'll see, right? The first obstacle that came up, he could have used that as evidence or proof that it wasn't gonna work and he couldn't do it, right? But because he'd said, I'm gonna do this for 2 years, everything that happened within those 2 years, he had to, it was a self-written rule, but he had to work through it. He had to keep going in spite of it. He had to learn from it and move forward. He'd given himself this specific time frame so that he couldn't quit before he got to that time slot. And the reason I share that story with you is because the hidden cost of waiting until the time is right is that you could wait beyond your capacity to overcome the hardship of growth. Does that make sense? You could wait beyond your capacity to overcome the hardships of growth. If you go now and give yourself 5 years to realize your goals and your future, everything that happens within those 5 years, you have the capacity to walk through, to overcome, to scale, to jump over, to learn from, to build from, and keep moving forward, right? Whereas if you continue to wait, one, you may never get to that place where you say, okay, now's the time I'm going to go. But two, even if you do, you could have, because of your prolonging, because of how you've diminished your trust in yourself, your belief that you can do this, because you've been overthinking and been in that spiral of, is it time? Am I ready? I can't do this yet. No, it's not the right time. And you've been in all of that talk. You've actually kind of chiseled away at your resilience. You're chiseling away at your tenacity. So when you do finally say, okay, let's go, the first hurdle that comes along, you're too weak, quote unquote, you understand what I mean by that word, to actually use it and overcome it. So the hidden cost of waiting is not just that you're prolonging the very future that you say you want so badly, the life that you can't stop thinking about, but you're also chiseling away and hacking away at the very essence of what it's going to take for you to build that future. Resilience, grit, tenacity, unshakable self-belief. You're eroding that every time you tell yourself, I'm not ready. So a simple first step that you can take in this process of moving beyond the self-sabotage of waiting is to make a decision today and take one action that will move you in that direction. It's very, very simple. Make a decision today and take one action that will move you in that direction. And I say make a decision today because it forces you to look at all the things that you're saying I'm not ready about, all the things that you're saying it's not the right timing about, and truly question the validity of that, right? Because the decision that you make today doesn't have to be, I'm going to leave my job and go all in on this business opportunity. That doesn't have to be the decision. The decision that you make could be, I'm going to start working on this business opportunity in the cracks of my day. I'm going to start scheduling every day where I have a spare 30 minutes or a spare 20 minutes, or I have that hour before the kids wake up, or I have that 20 minutes in the car when I pull into my driveway after work before I enter the house to take care of all the things. I'm going to take 15 or 20 minutes right there to work on this business that I'm trying to build on the side that I want to replace my full-time job. Making a decision to move yourself in the direction of the life that you want to live, and then taking one small action towards that. So your decision, for example, using that same scenario, is every day I'm going to take time to work on this business. And the one small action you make today is that you schedule when that time will be for the rest of this week. You see what I'm saying? So whenever it is that you're watching this, you make that decision today. And then the small action you take right now is that you look at your calendar for the rest of the week and you schedule in those time slots that you're going to work on this business for every single day for the rest of this week. Can you see how that isn't like the big scary decision that we think we have to make, the big scary decision that we're waiting to be ready for? But it is a powerful decision that can help you start building the momentum you need to be able to be in a position to make the big decision. Can you see how that works? So it doesn't have to be the big and scaries. I myself am a fan of big, bold, audacious action. But if you're not there yet, don't continue to sabotage yourself waiting to be there. Do one small thing that is within your capacity today. I really hope this conversation has served you in helping you take a tangible step forward. In the show notes underneath, in the comments here, I've linked a freebie that I have for you that will help you start to, flex this muscle a little bit. And I'm actually gonna put in the link to join the waitlist for my next group coaching program that will be launching in 2026. So you've got a solid 3 months to be ready for that. The She Breaks Through program is my signature offering in my business for group coaching. I also offer one-on-one coaching with performance kind of, a performance skew, a performance, emphasis, growth emphasis, specifically for women. But the most accessible way, I would say, to work with me is my group coaching program. It's a 12-week, 11-week process that I take you through, where I teach you how to stop overthinking in your journey so that you can take the bold action necessary to call in the life that you want. She Breaks Through, your blueprint to a limitless life, is coming really, really soon. And so I'm going to include the link there to join the waitlist, to be the first to know when enrollment is open for that program. I'm going to have a workshop associated with it as well. So be on that waitlist to get all the information first when that launches and is out there in the world. I'm really excited about it. I think 2026 is going to be such an impactful, transformative year. There's something about it that feels different. So we're gonna use that as the jumping off block for that. All right. So share this. If this spoke to you, share it with somebody. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts were. I think it's so important to understand, again, to quote Angie Lee, that ready is a lie. Waiting to feel ready is a form of self-sabotage that you cannot continue to make space for. Something has to change in order for things to change, you know? Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing to the channel here. I would love that. And hit me up in my DMs. I always link my social media, so you can come and tell me what your takeaways were and give me some insight into some of the things that you may be struggling with that can inform some coaching videos that I share in the future, or even give me the opportunity to give you some guidance right there, right then when I see your message. It's my greatest honor to be able to do this work and connect with you in that way. So I'm here for you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time.